gatherers. Sorry I'm late. The sun comes up shifting to drive. Another day I'm still alive. My heart is full, my mind is clear. The things I do while I'm still here. Bring the fire, bring the water, revelate the person that I'm trying to be. The future that I'm trying to see. No matter how I try to plan, jaws sorrow hand in hand, yeah. Bring the fire, bring the water, revelate all of my lovings, all of my lovings, all of my lovings coming down, coming down now. All of my lovings, all of my lovings, all I have, feel it, I can feel it calling. When I'm twisted up and small, when I'm standing twice as tall, when I'm holding on too tight, when I play it all just right now. Bring the fire, bring water, well, the answers across the sky. Just come over and pass us by. When we're gone, there will remain. This tapestry is storm and flame. Bring the fire, bring water, revelate all of my lovings, all of my lovings, all of my lovings coming down, coming down now. All of my lovings, all of my lovings, all I have, feel it, I can feel it calling. Revelate, revelate. Well, hey, how are y'all doing? I know I'm a little late today, but I have had such a cool last couple days. Allie got to spend her first 2 nights away from Willa since being a mama in Boston, and I got to be Papa Bear. I mean, I always get to be Papa Bear, but I got to stay home with Willa, and oh man, it was just a really cool experience, just me and her. Little tag team. Hanging out. It was great. It was great. Mama just got back, and Willa's taking a bath, headed for bed. But our day did not quite unfold as scheduled, and so I'm a little bit late for y'all. I am sorry. It's funny, right? Because, I mean, while we were gathering in the midst of COVID, right? The game was 7 o'clock, no matter what, right? And there were some insane things that had to happen, sometimes on a night-to-night basis, to make 7 o'clock work. But you know, having a little baby around certainly changes that a little bit, puts it all in perspective. So I figured y'all would understand if I was a little late. Anyways, it's nice to be with you. It's nice to be with you, gatherers. It was an awesome weekend. We had an awesome weekend with those of you that came out and hung out. We did a live gathering in a backyard in Townsend, Massachusetts. It was just an awesome way to start things off. It was a short little weekend for us, just 2 gigs. And then we rolled up to Burlington, Vermont. Man, I love it up there. And we played at Higher Ground, and it was awesome. We have not yet had that kind of explosive energy in the audience yet. And it was just great. Now, a lot of that was because a lot of you gatherers traveled in to be a part of that audience, and I love that, and I appreciate that. You know, there's so many good things happen with the Adam Ezra group right now when we're playing live, and sometimes I wonder, right, because there are so many of you that come to so many shows, and your energy is so contagious, and your sense of community. Y'all are just such ambassadors for who we are and what we're doing. And I wonder if we can all keep up this this pace. What would happen if y'all couldn't come out to all the shows? Good things would happen. Good things would happen. Continue to happen. I know. Because the coolest thing about what's going on these days is it's bigger than the bunch of us that get online every Tuesday night, and it's bigger than any group of us that are hanging out in a room, and that's one of the things that's so exciting these days. We do not have any gigs this weekend. Isn't that crazy? I can't remember. Well, you know, aside from like times off when I've been out in the desert, I can't remember when we haven't done that, but when we decided that we would not take any gigs this next weekend, and we would have a couple weeks to recharge and hang out, and I'm going to be here in Maine with Allie and Willa, and I'm really excited just to be a Papa Bear this weekend and a family this weekend. We don't get to do that much. We won't get to do that for the rest of the summer, so we soak in our time when we can. But anyways, nice to be here with you. Like I said, let's play some more mandolin stuff, huh? We started recording Revelate, that last song that I shared, and we've started recording this one too, which we've been calling The Ride. I might just switch it to just Ride. Maybe we were calling it I Will Ride, but Ride is just better, right? I think so. That's where my head is at now. Talk to me tomorrow, it might change. These are the words of cities in an ivory town. I gotta walk the rhythm that I know, and I'll go back down from the chains I found in the darkest down. It's time to go. So across the sky, I'll be around, I'll be around, I'll be around, I'll be around. Well, okay. I love recording these songs for y'all. I love thinking about y'all listening to these songs once they're recorded, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I hope the recordings sound good. I wish I was better for you guys. Thank you for the claps and the love, by the way, down there. I wish that I was better at making everything that I feel, knowing how to translate that sonically into a song, right? There's so much that I feel, right? And I think that when we're in person, and even when we're online together, I'm able to be in touch with that place, and there's some kind of a thing that happens in communicating all of the feels. But when I'm not playing it anymore, when it's recorded, there is something that gets lost. And it doesn't mean that a recording can be great. It can be. It doesn't mean that a recording can't be great, right? It can be. But it's a different art form. It really is. And it's one that I continue to work at. But I know, and I think one of the keys, maybe, to being, to striving to be a great artist, right, is having an understanding of the things that you're really good at and the things that you're not super good at. And that probably doesn't have anything to do with art, right? Maybe that's one of the keys to any of us that is striving for greatness, right? Wanting to do something great. It's really hard. It's really hard to realize what you're not good at, and to work maybe harder on those things, but to also recognize that in order to really accomplish what you want to accomplish, you need help. You need help from other people. And I've got great bandies, and Josh has been kicking ass in the studio, and I got all you gatherers out there who are so good at giving such good feedback. But that said, I listened to all of our recordings up to now, and there is something that I am hearing in here that I'm not hearing when I listen. And I don't know if I'll be able to tap into that at some point or not. But it's one of the challenges and the joys of the ride that I get to be on right now. And in a more general sense, the ride that we all get to be on, right? As we strive to be the best that we can be in whatever we're doing. I don't know. Hanging with Willa for 2 days has made me contemplative, I think. But I got this mandolin, so why don't I try some more stuff, huh? How about I tune this mandolin? What do you think about that? I remember a very frustrating gathering when I was just beginning to work on that tribute to Billy and to the fisherman that I am that I am neighbors with out here in Maine, and I am continuing to tweak some of the ways that I sing the song to make it my own, to embody what I am feeling like is the mentality of many of the fishermen that I've met so far from being here, and so psyched to keep sharing it with you. The bandies and I are working on it too, and it's fun to play it with them. Maybe some of you have heard it out in concert. Thank you for the claps, and thank you for the love. I'm glad you liked the song. It's very interesting. In some ways, I know we make a lot of jokes about my challenges with tuning instruments in the band and at the gatherings. And the mandolin is a very interesting instrument tuning-wise because it's got 8 strings instead of 6 strings. So in many ways, it is harder. But in other ways, it's easier. If you look, right, it's really, each string is paired with another string that is tuned the same way, and it's easier to get those 2 strings that are right next to each other sounding the same, right? And the tuning on a mandolin, the structure of how the strings work, makes a little bit more mathematical sense to me than the guitar. The guitar is a little bit strange in the way that it is strung, so it's an interesting instrument to be learning, and it's really cool, right, as a professional musician, to get to try new things and learn them in real time while working. Right? If you call this work. Sun hit wild in colors that were blazing. They broke upon a house in Presque Isle. An old man wandered out on a bedroll. Legend tells that Bobby was his name. Been decades since his soul had even seen him. He held his thumb out humbly towards the sky. The trucker passed him, standing, waiting patiently. He over there and offered him a ride. Diesel cab felt just like a cradle, and hummed along while Bobby sang the blues. He closed his eyes and thought about a harpoon playing and a wild gypsy girl that he once knew. Live hard, live now, do not wait, live now. He fixed a fence post in a ranch in Chili Coffee. The owners fed him well and let him ride old Adeline. She used to be the fastest in the county, but like Bobby now preferred to take her time. Days turned into weeks, turned into long. Driver wanna go. He only knew the night time from the daytime when the westbound road. And the people that he met would ask him questions. Old man, what are you doing, thumbing around? His eyes would sparkle, grinning, and he'd shake his head. He'd say it's the fool who thinks he knows where he is bound. Live home, live loud, do my way, live now. Down, da, 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 down, da, 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 down, da, 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 da. The sons of silence still did business through the clubhouse. Bobby'd run them favors way back when. They said that we can take you through the Rockies, but at the junction you were on your own, my friend. He spent the next 2 days on JR's custom softail, dreaming of the 10-pound bass he caught when he was 10. And every other memory in his lifetime swirling like that Colorado wind. And he ate some but was never really hungry. He slept when he was hanging by a string. He told everyone, you pass, life comes and goes so fast, and ain't our breath the most amazing, joyous thing. Live home, live loud, do my way, live loud. Ooh. Down, da, 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 down, da, 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 down, da, 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 da. He found himself in Parsons, California, holding court at Pappy's at the bar. Janice took the hidden bottle out from the back, and they reminisced a bit while Bobby played guitar. Late night he confessed that he was dying. This cancer seems to have the best of me, but I'd rather go out walking in the sunshine than lying inside strapped to some machine. And he woke the next day early with the sunrise, humming softly, bedroll in his hand. Say they saw him walking out towards Blacktop Canyon, and no one's ever heard from him again. Just down the road, a group of desert hikers found some bones under a twisted spiny tree, and a message carved into a bedroom. These final words by Bobby McGee. Live home, live loud, do my way, live now. Did you hear that song Sparrow in the background? That was cool. I'm getting more and more excited about this song. Thank you for the claps and thank you for the love. You know, us songwriters have to be careful sometimes. And I suppose maybe it's just us artists have to be careful. And I suppose all artists are different. And maybe many are in the creative process. We all find our different paces, right? But one of the things I have to be careful of as an artist and a songwriter is that when I finish writing something, usually I'm very, very excited about it. Honeymoon period, if you will. Sometimes some of that shine wears off a little bit. Sometimes it takes me a really long time to understand what I've written. And sometimes that's literally, like, sometimes I find meaning in songs that I didn't know that I was writing about when I was writing it. That's really fucking weird when that happens, and awesome, right? But also sometimes I can feel like it's really, a song is really working, and then over time, the luster fades a little bit. Maybe I'm just departed from the creative space I was in when I was writing the song. This song I was wary of because it took me so long to write, and then it was sitting in the closet for so long until our gathering series, until I got to break it out with y'all. As I play it more and more, I find myself more and more excited about the song. There will be a couple places where I know I need to be a little bit of a better writer. I can give you an example if you would like. So verse 2 needs to be tweaked. I like everything that happens. I like the way it continues the story arc. I like him being in Chillicothe, Ohio. I like all of that stuff. But sometimes as a writer, whether it's a songwriter or it's a creative writer or any kind of writing, any of us do, right? You can fall into a trap of saying, oh, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, right? Because you think you're telling a story, which you are, of course, but you can find more creative and powerful ways to say those things without saying, and then this happened, and then this happened, right? And I don't know even if I've talked with you gatherers about this before or not, but so let's talk about verse 2, okay? He fixed a fence post. I'm gonna just sing the verse, and then I'm gonna tell you what about the verse is bad writing, okay? He fixed a fence post in a ranch in Chillicothe. The owners fed him well and let him ride old Adeline. She used to be the fastest in the county, but like Bobby now preferred to take her time. Days turned into weeks, turned into longer. He'd head to where each driver'd wanna go. He only knew the night time from the daytime, when the sun would rest its head on the westbound road. Can some of y'all tell me what the bad writing is there? He fixed a fence post in a ranch in Chillicothe. The owners fed him well and let him ride old Adeline. She used to be the fastest in the county, but like Bobby now, preferred to take her time, right? The reason why I think that section of the verse is good writing is I didn't say, and then he went to Ohio, and then he was on a horse ranch, and then he rode a horse, right? Instead, right, as a writer, I put the listener into a scene. You see him fixing a fence post in a ranch in Chillicothe, right? I don't say where Chillicothe is, but people can figure it out if they try, right? And I love not giving everybody everything all the time. Um, um, that to me is also part of good writing, right? The owners fed him well and let him ride old Adeline. She used to be the fastest in the county, but like Bobby now preferred to take her time. I love that because maybe you have to listen a couple times to figure out, there's a lot of words in the song. The song goes by fast and we're used to just listening to melody and hanging out, right? But you actually have to listen to the story to figure out that it's a horse, right? I mean, when it's broken down like this, it's pretty obvious that it's a horse. And maybe for some of you listeners that listen to lyrics really deeply on the first pass through, that was obvious, right? It's the next part that I think could be written better. All right. Days turned into weeks, turned into longer. He'd head to where each driver'd want to go. I hate those two lines. I hate those two lines. I don't hate those two lines, but I think that they're bad writing. I like the next line. He only knew the nighttime from the daytime, when his head would rest, he only knew the nighttime from the daytime when his head would rest upon the westbound road, right? But days turned into weeks, turned into longer. He'd head to where each driver would want to go. I think that there are more descriptive ways to say that, right? You can describe the turning of the seasons, right? Summer passed his way into autumn, right? There's some way that could be more descriptive, that could illustrate the passage of time instead of me just saying, oh, and then time passed, right? He'd head to where each driver would want to go. Okay, I wanted to get across, right, that he was thumbing, and to a large extent, his journey was dictated by who was driving, right? But there are ways to probably do that without saying he'd head to where each driver would want to go. Maybe they're small tweaks, but for some reason, those two lines are under my fucking skin. I gotta change them, and to where I, in an earlier chapter, when my life was a little less crazy, that would have already been done before I was singing it so much. But as it stands, life is a little hectic. Yeah. So, and I just glanced down and saw a comment. Right, it says you are your toughest critic, and I think maybe, I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think we all should be our own toughest critics. Don't get me wrong, I love the song. I love my writing. I love my music. I love me. But without that voice challenging me to be better, I don't think I get better, right? I think that's one of the reasons that it's so hard for so many artists to continue to grow once they've become super famous, right? You have thousands, if not millions, of people telling you your shit doesn't stink, and suddenly you don't think it does. And I think oftentimes there's a huge challenge as artists become more popular, right? That their art isn't as powerful anymore for one reason or another. So I love that you all support me, and I love that I can talk critically about myself. But just know I'm not doing it because I'm down on myself. I'm doing it because I'm up on myself, right? So anyways, those two lines need to get tweaked. It'll be a quick project at some point, but The other thing that really bothers me, he woke the next day early with the sunrise, humming softly, bedroll in his hand. They say they saw him walking out towards Blacktop Canyon, and no one's ever heard from him again. Years down the road, a group of desert hikers found some bones under a twisted spiny tree, and a message carved into a bedroll. These final words of Bobby McGee. Can anyone guess what's bothering me about those lines? It's not the content. I like the storytelling in them. All right? It's just one little nitpicky little thing. In the beginning of the song, right? Dawn hit wild in colors that were blazing. They broke upon a house in Prescott, Maine. An old man wandered out holding a bedroll. Legend tells that Bobby was his name. Okay, so now there have been 3 references to a bedroll in this song, right? It's a visual thing, right? In the beginning of the song, you can picture this dude, right, with a dirty backpack on and a little bedroll, right? It's not even a sleeping bag; it's bedroll, right? Which is very, like, to me, is like, right? This is bare bones traveler. He's gonna be sleeping on some floors, and all he's gonna do is roll out his mat, right? So I like that. I like that Bobby's carrying a bedroll throughout this song. And I like, at the end of the song, a message carved into a bedroll. These final words of Bobby McGee. Now, if I hadn't mentioned the bedroll in verse 1, then those last stanzas would work, right? But you already know he's carrying a bedroll, right? He woke the next day early with the sunrise, humming softly, bedroll in his hand. That is a superfluous bedroll right there. They say they saw him walking out towards Blacktop Canyon, and no one's ever heard from him again. So, that's an easy change, right? He woke the next day early with the sunrise, humming softly, something. He's doing something else. But it's an awesome opportunity to further describe this man walking out into the desert to die, right? And and then, right, when you hear that last line, and a message carved into a bedroll, these final words of Bobby McGee. Well, then you can remember back to verse 1, where he's walked out of his house holding a bedroll, right? And the song ends with the message carved into a bedroll. And then you have your bookends of this story, right? So I think that those are the 2 changes I need to make before I feel like this song is finished. I take the time to talk about it with y'all because I know a lot of you gatherers have been here for a lot of nights. A lot of you gatherers have heard this song a bunch of times, and wonderfully, you all have given me wonderful feedback about these songs. So I thought that this might be a good opportunity to talk about the details of the writing, you know. I once opened up for this guy, I can't remember his name now, right? But he was a little bit of a pompous dude, and I'm pretty sure he was not a name that I recognized, and I'm guessing he's not a name that most of y'all would recognize, and it was a long time ago. But he was an older fella, and he was pretty eccentric, and he basically said, when I write songs, and I tell other writers this, when I write songs, I sit down and I write the song and I don't stand up. I don't get up until the song is finished. And then, when the song is finished, I never touch it again. That's the secret. That's the secret to great songwriting. And I remember hearing that and just thinking, wow, that could not be that could not be further from my mentality when it comes to writing, when it comes to being an artist. I think a song is a living art form, and it should continue to evolve over time. And man, oftentimes I am caught up in the moment of writing, and I will look at some of the stuff that I have written the next day and been like, okay. No, not so much that. Oh, that? Okay, that's a little embarrassing. Oh, that? Yeah. So anyways, so I've got a little work to do on the last ride of Bobby McGee. And it's a little work, right? The harder thing, the big work on that song is, and this I do not know. I do not know what to do about this, right? The big challenge is that it's a long song and it tells an intricate story. And I haven't arranged it with the band yet. We haven't built that story out, right? But man, I think story songs like this one with an arc really require some thought when it comes to the musical arrangement behind them. Should the music build as the story builds, right? Should it be super, super simple and broken down the whole time? I don't know these answers yet. And that's the journey. It may turn out great. It may never get better than just me and a little mandolin playing along. Right? But we keep working on it. Oh, that needs a little tuning, doesn't it? It's nice hanging with y'all. Thanks for joining me late. I have a handful more gatherings with y'all before we're back out on the road. And so we'll talk about our upcoming shows that I'm excited about very soon. But I want to mention, and I'm gonna mention this out loud, and it's gonna help me follow through. We have knock on wood, finalized our Ramble lineup. Our incredible army of Ramble volunteers are ready to go. For those of you first-time gatherers watching this, the Ramble is our festival that we host each year, and dedicated to ending veteran homelessness. It is going to be on Saturday, August 26th this summer, and we are about to put tickets on sale. Now, let's put that word tickets in quotations, because you don't have to pay anything to come to the Ramble. All you have to do is reserve your spot. You're allowed to donate when you make your reservation, and we would love that. Every dollar that you donate is going directly towards housing our homeless heroes in the Northeast. But your presence at the Ramble is not about your money. Your presence at the Ramble is about this community coming together to have a positive impact in the world. And so I want you gatherers to do me a favor. And I don't lightly ask for favors. I know the Ramble is a ways off. I know a lot of you are planning to be there. I know a lot of you are planning to travel in and turn it into a whole weekend, maybe a whole week vacation. I know that, but I want you to make your reservations for the Ramble as soon as we release these tickets. All right. I want I want my army to begin to get an idea of the scale of what this community is going to be when we get together for our festival. And once you have your reservations down, we'll be able to continue to announce how many people are coming out. And I think over the months, over this summer, we're going to continue to build momentum, and we're going to have a pretty amazing festival crowd. That's what I am expecting. That's what I can't wait for. So stay tuned. That's what we're going to be working on right now. We're going to be working on announcing the Ramble and having our little reservations link live for y'all within the next week. So be ready. It's game on. I cannot wait. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the wind at our backs. May it always blow steady wherever you roam. May you turn when you're ready to carry you home. May it keep you ahead of the rain. Yeah. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the heavens above. Some say it's a glance of God's great design. Some say it's the signs of all things combined. May we look up and always feel wonder. Here is to us, none we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around good company. Here's to the drink that we share. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to this time that we have. For these moments pass lightly, won't come again. May our lives all burn bright, right up to the end. May we live them with joyous abandon. Raise up your glasses. Let us drink to the end of the day. Let us drink to the work when the working is true. Let us drink one to me. Let us drink one to you. Let us drink one for those who aren't with us. Here is to us, and none we see. Here's to our hearts and the air that we breathe. Here's to around in good company. Here's to the future. Here's to the past. Let us drink one down slow. Let us drink one down fast. Let us drink one as if this night is our last. Here's to the drink that we share. Oh, here's to the drink that we share. As always, it's an honor to be here with y'all gatherers. Thank you. Please stay safe. Keep on looking out for one another. And I'll see you soon.